Alternative Talk 1150.
Rebecca Callahan wants to help you find and live your unique happy, the kind of life you might have only dreamt about until now. This is Soulful Synchronicities, and here she is, Rebecca Callahan.
Well, hello. Happy spring to you. It is here. The birds are chirping and happy. I love it. It's a gorgeous day. Gorgeous day. I'm excited. It's time again for Soulful Synchronicities. Thank you for being here and taking the time to listen. I'm Rebecca Callahan. I'm finding in my 50s, I have some things I want to share. I feel pretty strongly about ways that have helped me find my particular happy, helpful books I've read, speakers I've heard, including loads of new ways of thinking, possibly living as well. I have dear and interesting people in my life, just like you do, that have surpassed many unforeseen circumstances. In fact, we're going to be talking to a person like that could most definitely stop any of us in our tracks. These are souls I learn from and have hopes you'll benefit from hearing their stories and ideas too. I grew up in the gorgeous Crown Hill area, a block from Blue Ridge, that looks so fantastic. I drove there the other day, not long ago, in Ballard and within Seattle. So I kind of feel I grew up in a small town. The community of Crown Hill is like that, within the big, wonderful city of Seattle I love. When I was 29, I wanted to be on the radio, so I found a gig where I wanted to move and relocated, knowing not a soul, to Wenatchee, also in Washington, in kind of the north central Washington part, and started my career. I also found my family, although he and I are not in that kind of relationship anymore. I had met a man that I still get along with quite well. He already had a daughter. Her birth mother and Jeff's first wife had died of ovarian cancer, and I never knew her. I fell in love with both of them at the same time. And one day soon after we were married, we were in the kitchen, and Mandy, my brand new daughter at the time, came up to us and said, "So when are you going to have babies?" Well, soon after, voila, wish fulfilled. Boy, Dusty was born a year or so later. For over 25 years now. Dustin is almost 26, and Mandy, well, Amanda, she's almost 34. I've been on the airwaves playing music. It's been a long time, over 25 years, and it's better than working for a living. And I then made the move back to the Seattle area. That's just this last September. Soon found and grabbed this delightful gig you're hearing me do right now, talking about life and the particular subjects I just love to talk about, dealing with the mind-body-spirit connection and discussing journeys with people I love to talk to. Now, in just a moment, we're going to be talking to my guest, Lisa Bradshaw. So thank you for listening. I very much appreciate you being here. I have loved naturally empowering people to empower themselves to reach for their kind of unique happy. I'm an empowerment coach also and founder of a company aptly named Embody a Life You Love, because that's what I've been doing. If you'd like to see if empowerment coaching with me could be a good fit, you can contact me at DJ Rebecca Callahan at Outlook.com. That's the letters DJ REBECCA CALLAHAN at Outlook.com. Don't put you off any longer. Phew! Eric.
Good afternoon.
I caught you away from the mic for a second. How are you doing? Good
Doing
afternoon
great.
to you.
As you said, it's a gorgeous day here in the Puget Sound.
How was the commute for you?
Not too bad today. Yesterday, even though I think yesterday was just as nice as today, it was awful. But today, it was good. So you just never know.
Yeah. Did you have a good St. Patty's Day, by the way?
I did, yeah. Made some Irish food at home.
You did?
Yeah.
That's nice.
And watched an Irish movie. So what's better than that? I steer clear of the pubs because they're just too crazy on St. Patty's Day. But
you know, I went to the Wenatchee and saw my son. He played with 3 other bands, and it was a kick. It
very
was
cool.
Just a lot of fun. So, yeah, well, without further ado, I have a wonderful guest here today that I'm proud to say I've known for a long time. Lisa Bradshaw, hello. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah. Now, one day, you were diagnosed with something really tough.
Yeah, I had cancer when I was 24.
24 is when you were diagnosed.
So 22 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And that sent you down some rabbit hole, I bet.
I think
Say the least.
Yeah, yes and no. I think it kind of woke me up to some things more than anything. And I had a really supportive family and friends, and my family doctor. We were visiting home from college.
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I, my late husband now, but he and I were there visiting, and I found a lump on my neck Christmas night and went to see my doctor the next day. And he's the doctor who delivered me. So we opted to stay there in California for treatment, and I was in good hands.
Yeah. And so you had already given birth at that time?
No.
No.
We were just married about a year and a half. So I faced some risk of infertility from the treatment I had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we knew we wanted babies. So that was probably the toughest part is they tell you everything you got to go through to hopefully get a cure. And then at the end of the conversation, they say, and by the way, not too sure that you'll be able to have kids after this. But we did.
But Hunter was born.
He was born. He is here. He is 19 years old now.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, they told us to wait at least 2 years to try to have a baby, just at least a year, and 2 would be better because the threat of recurrence was more drastically reduced.
What'd you end up
I waited
doing?
2 years to the month, and we got pregnant in 3 weeks.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Timing.
Yeah.
Soulful synchronicities.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
he's the exact soul I'm supposed to have, so.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, I could tell immediately when I met him. We went river rafting. That was when I met him that one time.
Yeah, we stayed
with the radio
behind for the
station.
party. I didn't get
Yes.
on the raft.
I'm part of the we as well. But river
Yeah.
rafting is fun. It's a blast.
Yeah.
I've done it
He
before.
was like
but
9 then, so.
Yeah.
So we've known each other about a decade.
Yeah, because I got a picture, so I remember really well. But yeah, so you are, let's just start them out with,
Okay.
you are going on a 7-state tour. And did it just start, was I right, yesterday?
Monday.
Monday.
It started Monday, and it kicked off at Seattle Children's Hospital with McKenna Schwab. She's from our community in Wenatchee. That's where I'm from. And she is an amazing 15-year-old girl who's been a patient there since she was a week old. She has Larson syndrome. And together, her parents formed Max Spire Foundation and with their community and the help of Chris Pratt, because she teamed up with him for her Make-A-Wish. They've raised almost $1 million for Seattle Children's.
And Chris Pratt,
The actor.
Yes, I'm trying to think of the movie that they
The
just
Galaxy,
made 3 of.
all those.
Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that brought him some huge.
Yeah,
fame
they
other
auctioned
than
off
The
a
Office.
trip to be on set for Jurassic Park in Hawaii when he was filming,
Oh,
and they raised $800 and something thousand.
wow.
But she's had bake sales where she's earned $7,000. She's provided 35 red wagons because they use wagons for the kids instead of wheelchairs, ideally.
Okay.
And they didn't have enough, so she thought, well, we'll raise enough money for like 10, and they got 35. She's just incredible, and she is, had surgery after surgery, but she's just the embodiment of someone who's living a don't wait kind of life. And I know we'll get to that later, but
Yeah.
so I got to meet with her doctors and her team there, and we would be sitting at lunch, and someone would walk in and talk to her. Are you here for fun? Are you here raising money? What are you doing here? Because she wasn't there as a patient that day. It was the first time she'd been there not as a patient,
Wow.
so that was nice.
Wow.
She had no
That
appointments.
must have felt
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, so we spent the day there. Yesterday, I interviewed this adorable little boy named Roman, who he and his mom founded an organization that places animals, helps find homes. And he's like this internet sensation. One of his videos has 18 million views.
Oh, only 18 million.
Yeah, and he
That's
goes
amazing.
we went to the Noah Center
Mm-hmm.
in Stanwood, and he goes in and does videos with these dogs, letting people know where, what their personality is and helps them find homes.
Oh, that's amazing.
He is something. I haven't edited the footage yet because I'm posting all this as I go and editing, and it'll air on my show as well. But
Let's back up a
Yes.
little bit. So this 7-state tour is to do the Don't Wait project, which has been going on for quite a while.
I founded it in 2011.
Yeah.
I was writing my second book, Big Shoes, and about 2 weeks before I finished it, I felt like I really wanted to give readers something to do with what they felt about what they were reading.
Mm-hmm.
They were dedicating 382 pages to my family's story, and that's a lot of energy and a lot of effort and empathy, really. It was a tough read, tough write. but there was a lot of good in there, and so I wanted to leave them with something they could do with how they felt after they closed the book. And a couple of weeks before I finished, I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. I had this idea: what if I could create a movement, or at least get people thinking about their don't waits? What's your don't wait, and how do you achieve it? How do you get to that point? It's not a bucket list. It's not, what happens if we're not here tomorrow, or did we do everything we said? It's more like assuming we're going to be here a long time, and what are we doing with that time?
And let's back up a little more. And so you had recovered from cancer. You got over it.
Yeah.
You were in remission.
I was cured.
You were
I don't like the
cured.
word remission. So
I like the cured thing
Yeah.
a lot better too. Anyway, so that happened, and Hunter, your son, was okay, and that was huge.
It was a beautiful thing, yeah.
And you had a wonderful husband, Wesley.
I did.
What happened there?
The week of the week before his 4th birthday, we were doing the typical, we lived in Texas, so it was, a mild winter. We were refreshing our flower beds and having mulch delivered and just normal stuff for spring. We always did that for Hunter's birthday parties. And Wesley was cleaning out this old cabinet in our garage, and there was contaminants in it, an old bag of fertilizer that was soaking wet that should have been dry, droppings, mold, a lot of humidity there. And he told me that day he was short of breath, and to shorten a really long and arduous story, he died a year later after receiving a double lung transplant. So it was just this very ordinary day, like anyone has watching or listening to this show, and it just changed everything instantly. It changed everything.
I'm so sorry. And it said, we talked the other night about the upcoming show, and you said it took you 7 years to, you want me to find that? It took you 7 years to feel a little better, make sense of anything?
Yeah. I said to our son that first week, by then he was 5 years old, and he's a very bright kid, and he got it then. He knew his dad wasn't coming back. He knew it was permanent. And I said to him, and I've said it many times, that there's a really big reason for your dad not to be here. I don't know what that is, and I'm never in my lifetime really going to understand it. I know that. I've accepted that. I accepted it right away.
Yeah.
Saved me a lot of time and effort. But that there's a reason we're still here too, and that we can have real greatness in our lives, not in spite of what happened, but because of it. Like, there's a big reason we're supposed to be here, and I'm your mother, and it's my job to help bring that to fruition for you. And so that's really what I tried to live, and I still try to live every day. However, it took me many years, like you said, 7, maybe 10, to really be able to maneuver my life again. I met Wesley when I was 8 years old. I wanted to grow up, marry him, and have his children. We weren't perfect. We certainly struggled, and marriage, just like everyone does. But that was it for me. That was going to be the rest of my life, and for him too. And it just was very difficult to figure out who I was without him. So the only real identity that I still had, that I truly wanted to embrace and love and enjoy. Yeah.
You were mom.
I was mom. And so that I did well no matter what. That was just, and still is, the most important thing I do in my life.
I can relate.
Yeah.
High priority.
For sure. And I built my life around that, and that helped heal me in some ways. But it's just learning who I was, without Wesley took a long time. And it was a kind of scary world without him, and I didn't like not having a family anymore. I had to learn that Wesley was gone, but Hunter and I were still a family. I got in and out of a marriage after he died, a couple years after he died, because I was just in a hurry to try to, fill some space up. And I've been unmarried ever since for the last, 13 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, it just it takes time. And I think that over the years when I've made a mistake, it's been out of making decisions from fear. So the fear is mostly subsided now. We're human. We have fears and trepidation about life. But for me, I'm pretty solid now.
Mm-hmm. And your don't wait, though, that you focused on for the longest time was being a mom.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, that you have to get right. You know, you
I
don't get another
know.
chance at that. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, that was it for me. I just and you know, having these conversations with Hunter and making sure he understood how incredible his dad was to fight the way he did. I mean, to think about that he had his lungs removed from his body and somebody else's put in just to stay a little longer. I mean, that was really heavy for me. And to have been
It's
loved
huge.
like that in my lifetime, that's a gift. And then you
It
learn
is a gift.
how to be loved. And then you gotta you kind of maneuver life thinking, well, is that gonna come again? You know.
Yeah.
And then when it does, you know it.
Yeah. Definitely, because you've experienced it. We're going to go to a quick break right now, but we'll be back with Soulful Synchronicities with me, Rebecca Callahan, and also my guest, Lisa Bradshaw.
Hi, I'm attorney turned life coach Sunny Joy, host of Sunny in Seattle. I invite you to join me every Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. right here on Alternative Talk 1150 a.m. KKNW. Each week, I'll be bringing you amazing coaches, authors, and healers who are on a mission to encourage you, inspire you, and give you tools to live a life filled with joy, peace, freedom, and purpose. I look forward to connecting with you every Friday from 9 to 10 a.m. Sunny in Seattle, radio that positively shines.
Hi, I found a toy dinosaur over on the playground by Smith Street. It had this phone number on it, and, well, I just wanted to make sure the dinosaur made it back to its little owner.
Yeah, hi. I think I found your kid's stuffed animal near the swing set. Just want to call. I'm sure she misses it.
I know my son gets super attached to the smallest things, even a fire truck, and I'd be happy to drop it off. The toy was a little muddy, so I cleaned it up, and it's good to go whenever you're around.
When I found the little sippy cup, I just had to give you a call. It's for a kid, you know?
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger and give all of our kids the meals they need to grow. Learn how at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Conversation you won't find on the rest of the dial. Alternative Talk 1150.
The show is Soulful Synchronicities, always heartfelt with an electric feel. Now your host, Rebecca Callahan.
Hi there. Those of you watching the video, I hear my hair was quite interesting there for the first chunk, but I like to laugh at myself a lot. So, that works
Looks like
just
a cockatoo.
fine. You had a tour launch that just happened just the day before yesterday, and you are headed to many states, 7, Oregon next on the jaunt, and you had interviews yesterday, or this morning, I mean, 2 of them, right?
Right. Yeah. Yes, I did Cairo Radio, and then I was on New Day Northwest.
Because you might have seen her.
Yeah, Seattle's been good to me.
Yeah.
It's been a good stop.
So
My
you have a
first stop.
rig and you have a trailer.
Yeah, my rig is all wrapped up. It says all kinds of don't wait stuff on it. And then the camper is provided by Apache Camping Center here in Everett. They worked out a deal with Town Toyota, where I live, who's sponsoring the whole tour. And so I've got this teardrop camper. It has a cool kitchen on the back. I've yet to cook. I haven't really had time yet, but I will. But the other day, yesterday, I was running to somewhere and I was hungry, and I thought, so I just lifted up the back and made a quick sandwich. And last night I was eating some chips and having a glass of wine while I was waiting for my friend to come pick me up for dinner. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And you're going to be meeting a lot of people. Now, you already have met a lot of people. In fact, I saw that article you wrote, Matthew McConaughey. I quite like that actor a whole lot.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a radio show in Wenatchee for 5 years when you and I worked together.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people from our community on the show, and sometimes I got, to have people like Matthew McConaughey on the show. So that was a good time. He's incredible. He does his own amazing work with an after-school program called JK Livin', and it's for at-risk high schoolers. They do a program in several cities throughout the country. He and his wife I have a great team working with them.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good article. So the Don't Wait Project, you can follow her tour because you do a blog in it. You know, it's basically a blog, right?
Yeah, I haven't written or posted on the blog yet. Tomorrow is a day that I can catch up. Today's a travel day, and then tomorrow I have work to do. I also have my other job, some magazine deadlines and things like that. So tomorrow's a work day. But yeah, and I've been, posting on you can follow the Don't Wait Project on Facebook and Instagram and
the don'twaitproject.org.
don'twaitproject.org. And yeah, so there's a video that kind of explains what I'm doing. And then I'm interviewing people on camera. So I'm putting edits together. I put together a compilation, kind of a preview of Monday that I posted Monday night, or I think Tuesday morning by the time I finished it. And then I have a TV show in Wenatchee now on the NCW Life channel. And so I'm producing 24 minutes of content every week that I'm sending over to them, and they'll air it.
And that streams.
It streams on ncwlife.com, and the show airs on Wednesdays and Fridays.
Yeah. And what are the times?
12 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Wednesday and 1 o'clock on Friday. And it's on Charter and Local Tel.
And a great group of people that I know well.
Yeah, there's a lot of us that are there together on TV now.
That I've worked with through the years in Wenatchee.
Yeah.
So, so that'd be good to check out. And so Facebook, you said, Instagram?
Yes. We have a Twitter account, but I have no idea how to use it, so I'm not even trying.
Oh, I could probably show you that.
Well, I link everything from Facebook to Twitter, but apparently you're not supposed to do that. Whatever. I'm not sure. So it's all there.
Okay.
It's all there.
It's in place.
Yes.
Yeah. And the Don't Wait, you sort of came up with that, didn't you? Sort of that line in a way. I mean, of course, their words and everything,
yeah.
but that
right.
The Don't Wait Project.
Oh, I own the Don't Wait Project.
Okay.
I own the trademark for it. Yeah, the Don't Wait Project owns that. And
so tell us some examples of that, because I was looking and I was becoming extremely inspired.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I had a gal come out of the audience from New Day Northwest out on the street to talk with me about that same thing, feeling like she gets it, what I'm trying to do here. But the car has, for example, it has pictures on it, and it says, don't wait to go explore, call an old friend, see your doctor, say I love you, become a registered organ donor. So it's whatever. Everyone has a don't wait story. Some people have several. And you don't have to get in a camper and drive 7 states to achieve it. It's using your grandmother's china instead of keeping it locked away, or calling that old friend. For some people, that's an easy thing to do. For someone else, maybe there's
making a
little bit of a history there or something. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And the organ donor, I saw you have a doctor that's part of the
Dr.
project.
Keith Willey. He is on the board of the Don't Wait Project, and he was Wesley's physician at University of Alabama. He's incredible. He's talented. He's caring. We're still in touch, and I try my hardest to bring as much awareness to organ donation as possible. People think you just have to have a heart on your driver's license, but you actually need to let your family know, and you need to let your physician know as well, because in that moment of crisis, it might be more difficult for your family to know what you wanted or make those decisions for you.
That's really good to know. Yeah, that is. So you do, at the time of getting your driver's license renewed or start, for the first time, you can do that. You get that heart. You want to say,
right,
I want to be an organ donor. And, but you also let your family know.
Yes. And you can visit the Don't Wait Project website, don'twaitproject.org, and you can also visit donatelife.net. And they give you all the instructions that you need to become a registered donor.
Okay.
So registering to be a donor is really, and it's not trying to convince anyone who doesn't want to be a donor. There are enough people who believe in donation. They're just not registered. So if everyone who is registered, everyone who wants to give that gift of life if needed, if everyone were registered, then that would really change things.
Yeah, it really would.
Yeah.
Most definitely, because I have a sister-in-law that is alive today because she has a brand new liver.
Right.
And she's our miracle person in our family.
Yeah, and lungs are tough.
It's huge.
Yeah, lungs are tough. It's probably the most complicated organ to transplant and live with after transplant. We knew we were probably getting 5 years at the most if it worked, maybe 8. But
It
died.
has to take.
Yeah.
It has to be
Yeah,
right.
it
for
wasn't
the body.
his worked, but he was so sick by the time he got it. He had a lot of complications over the 6 weeks after. So, for me, I believe it came a little later than it should have. But now it's just a matter of making sure people are aware of, making sure their family knows and their physician knows, and so the sooner you have that conversation, and then you don't have to. It's like planning your will. You just have that conversation, and you don't have to think about it again.
Yeah.
But at least people know.
So it's about don't wait. Don't wait to do what you've been putting off. And it could be really fun things like going out hiking. It could be, or it could be contacting your doctor for an appointment that you need. Don't wait because,
you know how there's certain things that kind of nag at you, and the things you want to get done and you haven't. And those are the things that if you just did them, you'd feel so much better. And maybe it's a step thing. Maybe there's, maybe it's not one thing you do. It's planning over time and kind of tackling that list.
And those sorts of things, mending fences with someone from a prior friendship, that changes things.
Yeah, it does.
Altogether.
Yeah. It's interesting how, that just kind of making peace. It might be that you just are saying goodbye.
Yeah.
But at least you've said it.
Right. That time wasn't wasted during that friendship, and that's important. What I was going to say is, you told me about a particular story. Man was out in the water, and that's one of your don't wait stories that you've collected.
It's my last one, that I've been working on for a while. He was actually in the San Juans and was adrift for 8 hours. And he was an experienced diver, a dive master, but he got separated from the boat. And he could see the land everywhere around him. He knew the islands very, very well after years of diving, thousands of dives. But he couldn't get to it because of the current. And he had a dry suit on, and that's why he lived as long as he did through it. But the sun was about to go down. And I don't want to tell you too much.
No.
But it's the story of his rescue and how it changed him.
Quite a bit of a rescue.
Quite a bit of a rescue.
And they met, as I remember, years and years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm not giving it all away.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
No.
So, he was reunited with the person who rescued him.
But
I arranged that, yes.
Yeah. Nice.
That's all I'm going to say
Nicely
about that.
done, Missy.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yes. And can you share another story maybe that you've had for quite a while? It's just really does it for you.
That's coming up, or that I've encountered.
Pick.
I think that when people reach out to me, it's mostly about patient advocacy. They want advice. They want information. They want to know. I've been through some horrific medical ordeals between myself, Wesley, and my mom. Was misdiagnosed almost 3 years ago, and told she literally had no hope, and we were down to like 48 hours for her to live. And my family and we got her moved to a different hospital, and within 10 hours they had it all figured out.
Wow.
And that never would have happened. I don't believe her care wouldn't, for me, I wouldn't have known how to navigate that had I not been through those other things and learned to advocate and learn to question a doctor and fire a doctor if necessary.
Yeah.
And seek alternative information and second opinions or third opinions. So she is here and fully recovered. She was 90 pounds, and literally they told me to prepare myself. She had 2 days. And I remember that conversation in the hallway of that hospital very well. And I just said, my parents deserve more of a try than this. They've been married at that point 48 years, now 50. She's fully recovered, though. She's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Sometimes I look at her and I can't believe she's here. I really can't. Gets me choked up. Yeah. She's good.
Most definitely. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Soulful Synchronicities with my guest, Lisa Bradshaw, and me, Rebecca Callahan.
If there was ever a time to live united, it is now. Now is the time to speak with one voice, to build up, not tear down. It's time to join hands and live united against the problems that keep our communities from thriving. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you? Volunteer or donate now at unitedway.org.
Music is a bridge between the material and the spiritual. My name is Harvey Lauer, and I'm 82. As a blind person, you have to be aware that nobody can tell you what you can or can't do. You really have to try things. My folks got me a little radio in 1940, and that was the best Christmas present I ever got. When I was 11 years old is when I started to play music, play the piano, and then the accordion, and then the cello. My wife, who was also blind, was a good cook. When she died, that's when I started Meals on Wheels. America, let's do lunch.
It's Meals on Wheels. 1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
An alternative to everything else on your radio dial. Alternative Talk 1150.
You're listening to Soulful Synchronicities. Rebecca's job, as she sees it, is simply helping to bring out the brilliance and magic that is you. It's heartfelt with an electric feel. Here's Rebecca Callahan.
Well, hi, happy spring to you. That's my son playing guitar in the background, by the way, Dustin Hayes. And so thanks, Dustin, for the music. I am talking to Lisa Bradshaw, and I want to ask you, there are many of us that are in creation phase, and I would like to know how this all came together for you, this tour.
Well, it morphed over time. I originally thought I'm going to build a tiny house and just leave for a whole year when my son leaves for college. He left in the fall, this past fall. And I just knew that was going to be a really rough time for me. And so I wanted to have some kind of plan. And then, well, he's in college, so building a tiny house isn't really affordable right now. And also I thought, well, if I leave and just rent my house for a year, then where are we going to spend Thanksgiving? And what if he wants to come home for a weekend or whatever? So it just kind of changed over time. And I thought, okay, it started out with this idea of going out and bringing awareness to the Don't Wait Project and the mission of the project. And my mentor, the late Dan Conway, who hired me in radio in 2008, he passed away last October, but I talked to him about this idea. And one of the things he said to me was, make sure that it's about everybody. Like, make sure you include everybody. And so I thought, okay, how can I do that? Well, let me, I've lended my story for a very long time now, and it's part of me. It's part of the project. It's part of how I got here.
Sure.
But I'm really ready to turn that page and say, okay, so let me hear everybody else's story. And so that's where it started. And then you think, okay, well, how am I going to travel? I did a tour when my book, Big Shoes, came out in 2011. Got a wrapped car, Les Schwab Tire Center in Wenatchee paid for it. And I drove to LA and back and did book signings at wine bars, which is so much more fun than bookstores. Sorry, but it is. And so I arranged all of these in different cities and just had meet and greets and did morning shows like I did here in Seattle today. And then I thought, okay, but I don't want to stay in a hotel. And how can I make sure people know what I'm doing? And I thought, well, if I could create a spectacle on the road, and I thought I could take one of those little campers. And I started reaching out to camper companies, and every single one of them said yes. Not every single one followed through. And they were saying, we'd want to do this multiple times a year. This is great. We want to partner. And then somewhere along the line, and I'm very thorough, so I have a lot of follow through. I just didn't, think, oh, well, they must change their mind. I hammered them until they'd tell me something, and sometimes I didn't get a reply, but whatever. So I kept moving. And then I was going to go in the fall. I'd planned to go in the fall, but I'm really glad I didn't. I wasn't quite ready, and I was still really struggling with my son leaving home, and I needed to be able to sit here and talk with you and not be in tears. So
Yeah.
I put it off a little bit, and I thought, okay, I'll leave after his spring break. And so then I thought, well, okay, and I need some help paying for this, and how am I going to get this camper? Because, everything keeps following through. So right from the start, I went to Town Toyota in Wenatchee. And I
Which
met
is big in Wenatchee.
It's big. It's town everything. Town Ford, town
everything,
Nissan,
yeah.
town everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I have this idea. And I took them a one sheet. And I met with Christine there, Gross. And she said, okay, send me a budget. So I sent her a budget. And they said, okay. And so this trip, I mean, my RV stops, my gas, the camera equipment. I mean, I can't even say enough about what they're doing for me and for the Don't Wait Project and to make this possible. And then in the final hour, the camper company who had committed didn't come through. Literally just dropped off the face of the earth. I won't name them. And I started thinking I need a backup plan, and reached out to Apache Camping Center in Everett. And they are a family-owned business. And Carl Baker is the owner, one of the owners. And he said yes. And so they worked it out with Toyota. And I have actually the picture, the camper that I have is the one that I used for the one sheet. And I believe in that. You know, that's what I ended up. That's the one I wanted all along.
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to get it. So then I had the camper, went and got it in Seattle. I've had it a couple weeks and did some practicing and hooking it up and making sure I knew how to navigate.
You need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to know how to
Tried
do
to
that.
park in parking lots and back into spaces and all.
Yeah.
And, but you know, there were just so many things to think about, and I had so many lists going on, and I'm efficient, but I'm not that organized when it comes. I'll have a note over here or a note over there. And so, funny story, I, packed the last day, Sunday, and then Monday I thought, oh, I should take this and I should take this. I'm supposed to do an open mic night Thursday. I should take my guitar. I need to practice. Don't let me fool you. I don't know how to play the guitar. I'm going to give it a try. And just, a big monitor for editing video, which I use at home on my desk treadmill. But I realized I can't. So luckily I have a friend here in Seattle, and he came over yesterday and took a bunch of stuff, and he's holding on to it for me until I get back because I overpacked.
I can see that last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're just tossing it in. And so, and then my clothes, I didn't pack a lot of clothes. I'm literally going to wear this outfit every time I do media because I don't want to have to think about what to wear.
And that's not really what it's about. I really thought that's great because that's.
Oh, yeah. So if you get sick of this orange blouse, whatever. So, yeah, just really hammering it out and every detail and not knowing, do I need lights? What kind of mic should I take? What kind of camera should I have? I had all of this, handed to me. Like I had this huge opportunity. I have to get it right. And Pybus Market in Wenatchee is they've beat, I think, Pike's Market a couple of years for best market in Washington.
That's kind of Pike Place Market in Wenatchee.
It is, and they're outstanding, and they're very supportive. I do exhibits and things in the community as well, and they're good to me. So we had a kickoff Friday, pulled the car and the camper inside of the concourse there, and we had I taped a show there, recorded, interviewed people in our community who either were part of helping with the seed money for the Don't Wait Project, because I went to businesses. I worked in community relations as well at the radio stations. Dan hired me for that as well. And when I had this idea, I went to the businesses in our community and said, I have this idea, the one sheet. Dan taught me all about the one sheet. Put it all in one place so they know what you're asking. And I raised about $22,000, nearing the beginning of the slump, the recession. And I still raised the money and hired an attorney to file for nonprofit status and file for trademarking, owning the intellectual property and all of that. So it's all been just this ongoing. I always tell people, you can take a break, but then, take a little hiatus and get back to it. Just always come back to it. You won't lose progress if you pause.
Come back to your dream.
Yeah, you can't do it all at once. And this took about 8 months of planning. And, I'm only on day 2. Full 2 days. So, I'm sure there'll be a few hiccups, but it won't be because I didn't try to prepare for every possibility.
Did you manifest an organizer too? Have you done that one yet?
I was just going to say, I bought one. I bought this. I researched that for like a week and really cute stickers and everything, and I only used it 2 days. I
really
put everything in my phone.
Yeah. Well, actually, that works pretty well, probably.
It does, because then it reminds me, like, Like I was supposed to be Skyping with somebody the other morning, and if it's not in my calendar, luckily they didn't have it in their calendar either for an interview. Because
Yeah.
they said, but I didn't write it down. And I'm like, well, it doesn't go to my phone. It doesn't happen. So yeah, that's what it's been. And I think that the reason I wanted to share that is because everybody's got stuff they want to do. And it seems so big, but you start with, if it's business, for me, I started with the one sheet. You know, if it's something else, you figure out what is the starting point? What's the first thing you do? And you do that.
And then the next thing.
Yeah.
What's the next thing? The one sheet, so just to elaborate on that a little bit, is you just want to have everything on one sheet, correct?
Yeah, so
you
send it to the decision makers. And I don't think there's anything more valuable if you can't have a face-to-face conversation than a really good email and attach in a one sheet. I sent it to you.
Right,
You were able to read that and go, okay, I know exactly what she's doing here.
To give you an idea of what her one sheet looks like.
Yeah.
If you're watching the video, is there?
Yeah, that's not the camper I have, by the way.
No.
That was just one version. So yeah, and you know, I just think, I get a lot of people asking me, they want to be a writer. How do you get published? And it's the same. It's this typical answer. You become a writer by writing.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know, and that is not the answer they want, but it is the answer. It's the doing.
Yeah, I think Stephen King said write 20,000 words a day.
Yeah, 20,000
or 2 hours. Write for 2 hours a
Yeah.
day, something like that.
Yeah, I don't do that. Yeah, I used to write for a publisher. They were about 7,000 stories, 7,000 word stories, and I would literally usually wait till the day before it's due. So I would sometimes knock out 5,000 or 7,000 words in a day, but that's a lot. So yeah, I think that and that applies to anything. It's like me trying to learn this guitar. If I just sat down for 15 minutes a day, but I didn't feel like I had 15 minutes. Of course I do have 15 minutes. We all have 15 minutes. It's about priorities.
Yeah.
So there were some things that were more important to me along this tour that I had to do to get organized and make sure it was going right.
And speaking of importance, I asked you about self-care, and you said something so interesting. That was a great takeaway. That if people in my life are healthy and around, I'm good.
Yeah,
the rest is
yeah.
just minor.
I really try not to sweat the small stuff. I mean, I get stressed, and I'm a worrier about my kid. I want him to be safe. I want him to drink water. I want him to eat healthy.
Oh, but
that
just
kind of stuff.
A mom's job.
Yeah, that's a mom's job. And even though he's 19, he loves that about me.
Yeah, of course.
And
'tis the age,
yeah.
yes.
But yeah, I just, man, I know what it's like for your life to be one way one day, and then the next day it changes, and you can't change it back. Sometimes you never can change it back. And so.
And I like your stance. That happened to you. Wesley, you were in love since you were a kid with him. And, for you to stand tall, and I know you didn't feel tall through those times, but just stand firm that this happened for a reason, and I'm going to live my life with purpose. I just love that. That was my favorite part of our conversation before is I love that. So all this time you've been collecting these don't wait stories from people.
Yeah, they come through the website. They come through people I encounter through business or through socializing at different events, whatever it is, friends and family.
Is there one that comes to mind right now?
There's so many that, well, I can tell you that when I first started the Don't Wait Project, I remember getting an email from a friend saying, I had this spot on my arm for 3 years, and I just kept ignoring it. And because of the Don't Wait Project, I went and saw my doctor and found out I was literally I was going to be dealing with a whole different situation if I'd waited too long because of skin cancer.
Wow.
I mean, I'll be at I've been known to be at a festival or something and give out sunscreen, or if I have some there and I see someone with a burn, would you like some sunscreen? I've in a public place once. Now it's kind of a weird thing to do, but said, I noticed something, and just see your doctor about it. And I mean, there are just things like that a doctor visit's a tough thing. And so those are the stories I get a lot from people that they were putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And you feel so much better when you go. I mean, I have to go for my checkup every year. I have to go when I get back. I hate it. I'm really strong about 362 days out of the year. And those 3 days I'm going through all of that is pretty brutal, but it's part of my job, as Lisa and Hunter's mom, to take that care.
Yeah, there's an author, Sean Acor, that I really like, and he has an exercise that you can do where you write a piece of correspondence every single day, like write to your third grade teacher. If you can find her. It's not so hard these days with technology sometimes, but, and let her know how much, for 40 years or whatever, how much her tutelage, has meant to you. How about someone that saved you? I mean, how many times have we almost probably lost our lives, many of us, by just in traffic alone? But anyway, and if you know of the person, seek them out and write a letter or a call, or an old friend, like you say, that you have, maybe that there weren't any problems, but you just lost touch and you just want to reconnect and let them know how much they mean to you.
I think it's important. We see things. I see it on Facebook a lot after someone passes, and I certainly can relate that they'll write something. You write like you're writing to the person, in that person.
Right.
And you do that, and then, but what about, I've thought about this, and why haven't I done it? I shouldn't wait to do it. I'll do it tonight when I work. To write something on somebody's page to tell them what they mean to you before they're gone. And I just really believe that I don't think that there's anyone who I'm close to, who I love, or who I've been privileged enough to have in my life, who doesn't know how I feel. Even the people that I encountered and then they're gone, they left a mark, and that's worth acknowledging.
Yeah, and I had a friend that just found out that he contracted cancer, and he's doing quite well at this point right now. But for a while, I didn't know what to say. And, from the person's standpoint, they don't care. When I finally said something, it's like, I don't know what to say. Even the I don't know what to say, I'm at a loss for words, can mean so much, because you're reaching out. You think of how it means for you when you receive that from someone, when you receive a short note or an email or a whatever.
I have
so many ways
received
to
that
connect.
question a lot. What do I do? What's the right thing to do? A friend of mine asked me, should I give my friend's widow, she'd lost her husband, it was his friend. Should I give her a card on the year, or will that upset her? I'm like, well, she already knows it's the year anniversary. There are no mistakes from love. If you are doing it from your heart, there are no mistakes. So if you reach out, then if it's coming from the right place, it's just always the right thing to do.
It's all about love, and love for yourself as well, I must say, because that's been the difference for me in this last 6 months, is I really embraced myself. And part of the way that I did that is, have you ever done mirror exercises at all?
No.
Just looking at yourself in the mirror, focusing on your beautiful eyes, and quite often doing I am statements, like,
I've heard about it. I have not done it.
Eraser boards, right?
Yeah.
Those pens that go with those. On my mirror in my bathroom, I put I am joy. I am beautiful. I am love. I am light. I am good. Things I want to be as well, and I find that, or I have found that has made a huge difference in my life, to have that combination of love for myself as well. I'm able to share it so much easier with the people in my life that I run into,
Mm-hmm.
strangers even. But so I really encourage you to do that. I also had a challenge last week. My first week, I challenged people to a walk outside, enjoying nature. And then I challenged for 2 walks. So I want you to stand tall and keep doing that. Yeah, sit tall. Stand tall, meaning do the 2 walks again. I challenge you to do that. And also, I'd like you to try this mirror work once.
Me?
Just once.
Me or people
You-
listening?
Well, you're listening
I
too,
know.
so all of us.
Well, I have this portable mirror in my camper.
You do?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, I have to put makeup on.
Yeah.
Do my hair.
Yeah. Portable
Okay.
mirrors work.
Okay.
But it's a good challenge because when you can add that, love for yourself, then it's so much easier to give it out. The Lisa that I had on the show last week said she heard once that you want to bring your cup to overflowing, and then you give from that overflow to other people. And I love that. It's the Don't Wait Project. And you can follow her, don'twaitproject.org.
And on Facebook, Don't Wait Project. Instagram, Don't Wait Project. Twitter, Don't Wait Project. All of those ways. And then my show on ncwlife.com.
And
online, ncwlife.com is where you visit.
yeah, so ncwlife.com. You don't have to be in Wenatchee to see it. They stream it on that website,
I
and
think
they
they're
have
archiving too. I'm not sure, but yeah.
and they have a body of people, incredible body of people working there.
Yeah.
That I know and love. So yeah. But one other thing that, since we still have a little time, is I want to pick something that you would like to talk about, having to do with this or life.
I think that the thing that's at the forefront of my life right now is just the big adjustment of my son leaving home for college. And everyone listening who has a kid will encounter this, whether they leave for college or leave to the military or leave to live in an apartment across town. If you have a child, at some point you have to let part of that go, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever. When he first left, it was like, it felt like I hadn't felt such despair since his dad died, and it's hard. It's horrible to compare it. It's completely 2 different things. He's supposed to raise him. He's supposed to leave home. He's supposed to start his own life and spread his wings and all those things they say. But the actual happening of it, it was really. And the difference, though, when Wesley died is I had Hunter.
Yeah.
So now, again, here I am, this new identity, and figuring out who I am and what I'm going to do with this. And I know that people listening can relate to that, because he leaves now and I don't fall apart. He was just home for spring break, and I was able to say goodbye and not, I try not to cry in front of him. But boy, the first couple months, I lost hair, I lost sleep, I didn't exercise. I just felt really not myself at all. And so I think that that's been at the forefront. But coming through that, I feel a lot stronger. I didn't think I could do it. I didn't know how I was going to do it.
Don't you think the toughest things in life, hate to bring them
but
on
I'm
or
so
anything.
sick of it.
Yeah.
I'm just so sick of it, right?
Yeah.
And there's just that. It was kind of like when I was diagnosed with cancer, and they told me this is what you got to do. I had to give 100%. There was nothing I could do. There was no shortcut. There was no roundabout way to get to a cure. I had to do everything that I'd committed to doing. And when you're raising a child, it's not the same as having cancer, but that's the other thing in my life, that there's no, it's a straightforward. You got to be a good parent and do that work every day and make sure it doesn't feel like work, that it's a gift. And that's how I wanted to treat it. So then to be in this spot thinking, how do you navigate that? But now were becoming friends. I was never his buddy raising him, you know. I was in
Yeah,
charge.
of course.
He had a voice, but I was in charge. He knew it. And now just starting to have, you know, that peek into our adult relationship. And I'm liking it. I mean, he did invite me to his college to watch the World Series.
Oh, wow.
So I watched game 6 and 7 with my kid. Game 6 was with his friends and me, and I brought food and everything. And then game 7 was just us. And we are huge Astros fans. Sorry, Mariners fans, but we are huge Astros fans. So, you know, that's a cool thing that he wanted to invite his mom to watch the World Series.
I love that. Hey, by the way, the Women's Mind, Body, Spirit April 21st event is on its way. In fact, if you're wanting to have a booth there, that is still available to be done. It's going to be at the Bellevue Hilton. I'm really excited about it. There's going to be a KKNW panel. Sunny in Seattle is going to be there. Dina Marie as well. And I also wanted to let you know that my guest next week is going to be Katie Drew, someone I am very close with. In fact, she's my niece. We will be talking about following your inner voice, and that is going to be next Wednesday, 1 o'clock. I so appreciate you listening. Thank you, Lisa Bradshaw, for being here.
Thank
Have a
you.
wonderful tour.
And thanks, Seattle. You've been good to me.
Yeah, the don'twaitproject.org. Check her out, and I will be back next week. I'm Rebecca Callahan, and this is Soulful Synchronicities.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of KKNW, its management, or other advertisers. Contests are the responsibility of the host of this program and not KKNW. This is Alternative Talk 1150 AM, KKNW Seattle, and KNUC 98.9 HD3 Seattle.